Penguin Random House Audio presents The Tearsmith, a novel by Erin Doom, translated by Eleanor Chapman, read for you by Alexandra Hunter. For those who have believed from the beginning and until the very end. Prologue. We had many stories at the grave. Whispered tales, bedtime stories, legends flickering on our lips in the glow of a candle. The most famous was the one about the Tearsmith. It told of a distant, faraway place, a world where no one could cry, and people's souls were empty, stripped of all emotion. But hidden far from everyone lived a little man cloaked in shadows and boundless solitude. A lonely artisan, pale and hunched, whose eyes were clear like glass and could produce crystal teardrops. People went to him in order to cry, to feel a shred of emotion, because tears encapsulate love and the most heart-wrenching of farewells. They're the most intimate extension of the soul. More than joy or happiness, it is tears that make us truly human. And the Tearsmith fulfilled this desire. He slipped his tears and all that they held into people's eyes, and so it came to be that they learned to cry. With anger, desperation, pain, and anguish. Excruciating passions, disappointments, and tears, tears, tears. The Tearsmith corrupted a world of purity, tainting it with the deepest and darkest of emotions. Remember, you cannot lie to the Tearsmith, they would say to finish the tale. They told us this story to teach us that every child can be good, must be good, because no one is born evil. It is not in human nature. But for me, it wasn't like that. For me, it wasn't just a story. He was not dressed in shadows. He was not a pale and hunched little man with eyes as clear as glass. No, I knew the Tearsmith. 1. A new home. Dressed in sorrow, she was still the most beautiful and radiant thing in all the world. They want to adopt you. These were words I never thought I would hear. I wanted it so much. Had wanted it ever since I was a little girl. So for a moment, I thought I must have fallen asleep and been dreaming. Again. But this wasn't the voice from my dreams. It was the gruff bark of Mrs. Fridge, her voice infused with the usual contempt. Me? I gasped incredulously. She sneered at me with a curled upper lip. You? You're sure? She gripped her pen with her pudgy fingers, and I flinched under her glare. Have you gone deaf? She snapped. Did all that fresh air block your ears? I hurried to shake my head, my eyes wide in disbelief. It wasn't possible. It couldn't be. No one wanted teenagers. No one wanted older children. Never. Not under any circumstances. It was a proven fact. It was like in the dog shelter. Everyone wanted a puppy because they were cute, innocent, and easy to train. No one wanted a dog that had been there its whole life. This had been a difficult truth for me to accept, having grown up under that roof. When you were little, they would at least look at you. But gradually, as you grew up, those looks would become fleeting glances, and their pity would carve you into those four walls forever. But now. Mrs. Milligan wants to have a little chat. She's downstairs waiting for you. Show her around the Institute and try not to ruin everything. Keep your head out of the clouds, and with a bit of luck, you'll be out of here. My head was spinning. The skirt of my good dress fluttered against my knees as I climbed down the stairs. And again, I wondered if this was just another of my daydreams. Surely it was a dream. At the bottom of the stairs, I was greeted by the kind face of a mature woman, clutching an overcoat in her arms. Hi, she smiled. And I noticed that she was looking at me directly in the eyes. That hadn't happened in a very long time. "Hello?" I exhaled. She told me that she'd noticed me in the garden earlier, as she was coming in through the Institute's wrought iron gates. She had seen me in the long grass, lit by the shafts of sunlight filtering through the tree leaves. "I'm Anna," she introduced herself as we started to walk. Her voice was velvety, mellowed by age. I gazed at her, enraptured, wondering if it was possible to be electrocuted by sound or to be so enamored by something you'd only just heard. "What about you? What's your name?" "Nica," I answered, trying to contain my emotion. "My name is Nica." She looked at me curiously, and I was so keen to hold her gaze that I didn't even look where I was stepping. "That's a very unusual name. I've never heard it before." "Yes." My gaze became evasive and shy. "My parents named me. They were both biologists. Nica is a type of butterfly." I remembered very little of my mom and dad, and what I could remember was hazy, as if I was looking at them through a dirty window. If I closed my eyes and sat silently, I could just about make out their faces looking down at me. I was 5 years old when they died. Their tenderness was one of the few things that I could remember, and what I most sorely missed. "It's a really lovely name. Nica." Her lips rolled around my name as if she wanted to taste how it sounded. "Nica," she repeated decisively with a graceful nod. She looked into my face, and it felt like a warm light was beaming down on me. It seemed as if my skin was glowing under her gaze, as if a single glance from her could make me shine. This was a big deal for me. Slowly, we wandered around the grounds of the Institute. She asked me if I'd been there long, and I replied that I'd basically grown up there. The sun was bright as we strolled past the climbing ivy. "What were you doing before, when I saw you over there?" she asked during a lull in the conversation, pointing towards the shoots of wild heather in a distant corner of the grounds. I quickly turned to look where she was pointing, and without knowing why, I felt the urge to hide my hands. "Keep your head out of the clouds," Mrs. Fridge's warning flashed through my mind. "I like being outside," I said slowly. "I like the creatures living here." "Are there animals here?" she asked, a little naively, but I knew I hadn't explained myself very clearly. "Little ones, yes," I replied vaguely, taking care not to step on a cricket. "Often, we don't even see them." I blushed a little as we caught each other's eyes. But she didn't ask me any more questions. Instead, we shared a gentle silence, listening to the jays chirping and children whispering as they spied on us through the windows. She told me that her husband would arrive at any moment, to get to know me, she implied. And my heart felt so light I felt like I could fly. As we went back inside, I wondered if I could pour those feelings into a bottle and keep them forever. Hide them under my pillow and bring them out to watch them shine like a pearl in the darkness of the night. I hadn't felt so happy in a long time. "Jin, Ross, no running," I said good-naturedly as 2 children rushed past, jostling my dress. They snickered and ran up the creaky stairs. I turned to look at Mrs. Milligan and realized that she had been watching me. She was gazing deep into my eyes with a touch of something that seemed almost like admiration. "You've got really beautiful eyes, Nica," she said unexpectedly. "Do you know that?" Embarrassment gnawed at me. I didn't know what to say. "Everyone must tell you that all the time," she prompted tactfully. The truth was that no one at the grave had ever told me anything of the sort. The younger children would sometimes innocently ask me if I saw colors like everyone else did. They said my eyes were the color of a crying sky, because they were a strikingly light, speckled gray. I knew that many people thought they were unusual, but no one had ever told me they were beautiful. At the compliment, my hands began to tremble. "I know, but thank you.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?